Hey everybody, Baldorg here. Today I'm going to be reviewing my first LEGO Star Wars set, which is the Slave 1 of the 20th Anniversary Edition set series. This is set number 75243 at about 1,007-ish pieces. Comes with a couple exclusive minis, or one exclusive mini that I'll show you in a minute. It was a really fun build to make, and it looks fantastic. So what I'm going to do today is just talk a little bit about it, the build, the minis it comes with, the set itself, and what I overall think about the set. So first, let's show off the minis. The exclusive it comes with is this 20th anniversary Princess Leia on her own little stand, which I think is a really nice touch. It's a really nice looking mini. Definitely looks good. It was very simple to put together. I'm not a huge fan of how they do her blaster. Just don't generally like how that looks. But the rest of it looks really good. It's got her signature hair, and her little pedestal is a nice touch. So I do enjoy this mini. It's kind of nice. Now, it does come with a couple extra characters. So we have a couple extra little bounty hunters that it comes with, which honestly do look really good. I especially like this one just because I think the silver head looks really good on this body, and the gun it comes with is pretty nice too. Now, this one is an odd little mini. I like the head on this figure, but I don't like these kind of feet. Like, I'd rather have it so that the feet have mobility. I'm sure it's more accurate this way, but I'm just not a huge fan of that. The gun itself is pretty cool. Just not an enormous fan of how they do the feet on this mini, but otherwise, definitely looks pretty good. And then we have the Han Solo, which the Han Solo figure is looking pretty good too. Pretty standard looking. Do like this mini. Not entirely screen accurate to the scene where he gets frozen in carbonite, but that's okay. Pretty good mini though. I like how it looks. I find it strange, and maybe this has to do with the mini itself, like when the original came out, that Princess Leia has like the old Lego like yellow look to her, whereas the Han does not. So I wonder if that just has to do with maybe how Leia first came out or first was introduced as a Lego set. Now obviously it does come with the Boba Fett mini. It also comes with, kind of hidden under here, a little compartment. See if I can take this out easily. That's right, a Han Solo in carbonite slate, which is an awesome touch. And I love the fact that I can slide it into the Slave 1, kind of cover it up with this thing here. I love that touch. I think it's amazing. Now the ship itself. What's really cool is when you stand it up, one, the cockpit rotates, so Boba goes from like a sitting position this way to a sitting position this way. The wings rotate as well. Just due to the weight of them, they'll kind of shift depending on how you have it up. It has this nice little handle in the back for holding it. So for those, especially if there are kids that are playing with this and they want to fly it around, you can fly it a little bit more accurately this way because this is how it's supposed to fly. Little blasters at the bottom are looking really good. I love how the front plate looks. These are two spring-loaded blasters. There's little red switches in the back here. See those right above where my fingers are? If you flip those switches, it does fire the blasters. I'm not going to fire it where I am because I don't want to lose them. But you get the idea. You push those switches and they shoot. And they shoot pretty good. Honestly, I did it a little bit earlier and it wasn't bad. I just don't want to lose one because I already lost one of the blaster pieces somewhere in my computer room. But other than that, it's a great looking set. It's big. Like, you know, that's like this is a pretty sizable figure and it stands right up to it. It's a tall figure. It looks really accurate. I really enjoy how it how it feels. Now, when you put that little thing down, you lay it down, you'll see that the wings flatten out as well. A lot of nice little touches on this. You do have to remove the plate to take Boba out, which isn't super ideal, but it's also not, a huge problem. I would personally like it if it had something more of a latch, but probably to make it a little bit more seamless, something like this was needed to be done, which is fine. I think it looks okay. Not a huge deal to do that. The only issue that I have with the cockpit setup besides that is the way Boba Fett goes in this. Let's see if I can kind of show it here. So he's on like this little rotating pedestal, thing is. But he's on like a little rotating pedestal, so that obviously he can go from an up to down position. The only issue I had with that was actually getting him in was a little tricky, because he's got like his jetpack and everything like that, and even his little like shoulder guard thing kind of gets in the way when you're putting him in, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to put him into a good seated position where like he'll actually stick to the Lego that's in there. Besides that though, looks great. I love the rotation bit in there because obviously, and I'll try to show it from that. So you saw he's sitting, then when I lift it up, he's sitting up. Absolutely love that as a feature. I don't like stickers in my Lego sets. This does have stickers, but it only had about 7, 8, something like that stickers. Maybe a little bit more, I don't know exactly how many, but it wasn't a ton. And they were easy to put on, nothing super complex. You can see a couple of them in the back. The rest of them are kind of in the cockpit and everything like that, like these two or something. All fairly simple, nothing super hard. But besides that, for the build, there were only a few pieces in this build that, in my opinion, were a little bit tricky to put together. And that's partially due to either reading the steps incorrectly or something to that regard. Now, I built this set on a stream, which if you're interested in ever watching me build a set via stream, if you consider following my Twitter and or Twitch below, you'll be able to find out whenever I'm doing those. But when I was building this on stream, and part of it obviously is because I'm distracted a little bit talking on stream and things like that, but I did have a couple pieces that I had some trouble making. For example, these plate pieces here, I had a little bit of difficulty, only because it wasn't super clear where some of these parts went on top of the plating. Only because it's kind of hard to tell when you're looking at a piece from a certain angle which way it goes. Not incredibly difficult. It took me maybe 2 or 3 tries, and I figured it out pretty quick. Nothing too hard to really like rip apart and put back together. That was all fine. And then these things gave me some trouble here, but that's only because I found out that I left a little peg undone on one side, and once I was able to kind of move and flip that peg, it worked. So realistically, the only troubles that I had were either my errors or a little bit of a misunderstanding with how to put this plate on. Other than that, extremely fun build. I love how it looks, love how it turned out. It took me about, without being super like honed in on doing it, it was about 4.5 hours, something like that, maybe a little bit less. But around 3-4 hours, I would say, in that mark, definitely. Some of that time was obviously spent talking because I did it on stream, but it was about a 3-4 hour build, I would say. And I was only I was focused on it, but I was, I was talking, I was watching as well. So a pretty sizable build, but nothing too crazy. One good sit down, and you can definitely knock this out fairly easy. Okay? The other thing that I want to talk about is the box that it came in. Let me just grab that real quick. And the box that it came in is pretty nice. The large box, as you can see, has the 20th anniversary in all the details over here. Like I said, was it 1,007? Yep, 1,007 pieces. The back art shows the other minis you can get. These guys here, whose names I can never remember. I think it's in the front though, isn't it? Yes. Forlom and Zuckus. Those are the ones I forgot. Let's put a little ring around them. But the box that it came in was fantastic. And honestly, this whole set was done really well. I love everything about it. Definitely one of the better Lego sets that I built. We'll be making more of them on stream. Now, if you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for getting to the end. Consider subscribing. I'm going to be putting out more videos just like this one. My channel is going to be opening up a little bit. This is obviously my first Lego build. Typically, I do a game called Fire Emblem Heroes. If you play that game, consider subscribing. I put out a lot of videos for that, and I'm going to be doing more in the future. I'm also going to be adding more stuff like this, where I'm going to be building different Lego sets. In fact, I have a special Lego set. You can kind of see in the background a little bit there, but not enough to actually make out what it is, which is a very near and dear set to me, and I'll explain that in the next review and maybe on stream when I do it. But definitely excited for that one. Make sure you catch that. Again, if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time.